No, you are 2 million shares. We say, oh yes, you are right. Your 2 million is? No, it can't be 7. Fanya hesabu, 2 million shares would have bought you 1 million. 2 million shillings would have bought you 1 million shares. 13 and a half. You know some, najua nikisema hii, mnafikiria ni pahali it's real. Si vitu tunasomanga kama hizo nimewabia za Warren Buffett. This is real. Kenya shares 3 months ago. Let me even use December. Kenya shares in December was 1.06. Yesterday, let me say the high. Average for last week. Not too much. 3.5 shillings. I want you to do the percentage. Kenyan shares, a year ago, a time like this, it was cheaper to buy one Kenyan share than it was to buy Peremende. It was maybe 3 point something shillings. As of yesterday, 9.7. It doesn't happen all the time. I'm not telling you at the Monday you go buy those shares. No. I am saying this. Some time back, I sat down, downloaded the financial accounts of Kenya Power, read, and I realized, ni mimi tunajua hii mambo ama ni nini? Because I saw a gold mine. I am going back to what I told you. You never move from M to B at the evil. You have to also spend some time. I mean, if, for example, working for a whole year, for a whole month, in that institution, you earn 100,000 or 50,000 per month. If you earn 50,000 to work for a whole month, then it means to move from that M to B. It also calls you to also engage your mind into running and data analysis. It's not so complex anyway. So I started and I saw a company had over 150 billion in sales. That is revenue. Assets were like 320 billion that time. The valuation of that company was just 3 billion in the market. Then I decided I am not consulting anyone. I am buying vile tunasemanga hapa kwetu takeri. Yeah. Yani hutaki kufikiria mimi hapa nimeona iko kitu na sitaki kujua mimi nanunua. Last year I scrutinized Kenya books. I realized the company is valued by that time, was valued by the market at only at 6 billion shillings. The entire company. Because when you're buying shares, me, I don't advocate for trading. I advocate for investing. Invest like you're investing in a company, not trading shares, no. So I see a company worth 6 billion, but they had declared profit that year of 5 billion net profit. Can you just imagine? Ile story tulikuwa tunasema ya Proti. Proti will take you 10 years to recover your money. That's what they say, 10 to 15. Now here there is a company which was worth 6 billion, but net profit for 1 year was 5 billion. Then I scrutinized further. I saw their cash and cash equivalent. These things are online. You can actually check. And that you don't need to be an accountant. I'm not one. I read and saw their cash and cash equivalent by then was 35 billion shillings. Do you know what that means? And then I read further, they have no loan. Hi. Then it meant to me, I can buy this company at 6 billion. If it becomes mine, the cash and cash equivalent alone, I get the 6 billion and pay the people who gave me. The whole money The 30 billion remains free money. Anniversary Towers, which is owned by them, becomes my building. Maybe I'll have the top 3 floors as my office. Reinsurance Plaza becomes my building. And then I started there in 83 markets. I never needed anyone to tell me anything. I saw an opportunity there. So what am I trying to tell you? There are many opportunities you can make money passively. They don't happen all the time. That's why I talked about study how the markets move, how the economies move, so that you know when to jump. For example, in Kenya, you have had a bullish market. Shares in Aeda Jew. But they don't go up like this. They go EV. So it's your work now. Go check the companies of your interest. Study. You'll see a lot of opportunities. Let me use 2 brands you know. KCB Bank, for example. KCB Bank is valued by the market at around 170 billion shillings. The valuation of the entire KCB. Last year, they made a profit of 60 billion. So if you bought KCB at your bank, it will take you 2.5 years to recover all your money using only net profits. Equity Bank, for example, also. Equity Bank is valued by the market at around 211 billion shillings. But their first half year up to that year's June, was 31 billion shillings. So they will likely make 62 billion 1 year profit. So it will take you, if you bought the entire company, less than 4 years. Proti Narumoro, Proti Kamuru, Proti wapi, hiyo Proti alafu unapigiwa simu, muduraita maiga haha. I mean, then you have a home in hapa Nyeri, another one in Nairobi. Now, because you have money, you also want a home in Mombasa to be sleeping there over Christmas. And then the entire year you have a caretaker maintaining that plot for you. Thank you very much. May God bless you. Nimemaliza. Asante sana. You may sit. I know we are in a church forum, and therefore we can't talk politics. I just want to say one thing that is attached to the things I was saying, because I am an economist and I am grateful for that. There is one thing that is troubling my mind as a Kenyan on the economic front. And it's something, I am not saying it to accuse anyone. I'm saying it because it is important. If you read the central bank data, it shows that the Kenyan economy, we have now borrowed. Our national debt is now over 12.1 trillion Kenya shillings. For the last 3 years, our country has borrowed in excess of 3.5 trillion Kenya shillings. So I would want to request all of us as the leadership, and especially those who have the opportunity to make decisions in the executive. Let us serve our country with dedication. And let us not seek to give good narratives out there when the Kenyan economy is actually being teared down or torn down. We have borrowed over 3.5 trillion Kenya shillings in 3 years. President Kibaki borrowed 1.2 trillion in the entire 10 years he was president. And therefore we have borrowed 3 times in 3 years. We have borrowed 3 times what Kibaki borrowed in 10 years. That's the money Kenya has borrowed in the last 3 years alone. 3 times what Kibaki borrowed in 10 years. And in that money I have not included other debts that Kenya has now become clever to borrow in the name of something called securitization. I have not mentioned even that. It therefore means the economy of Kenya is borrowing 100 billion every month. And every single day, when the lights go off, every day, every single day, Kenya is borrowing 3.4 billion every day. That we are borrowing in a minute. You can do the calculations and see. In an hour, maybe we are borrowing around 137 every 1 hour. I'm saying this because we are now headed to the elections. And what governments do, they focus more on re-election, and we forget that we have a country to lead after the elections. And what that means is that every time we are nearing elections, we start having something called fiscal expansion. Because maybe there is nothing much to be seen for the past year, then in basically 1 year, we want everything to be seen. And therefore, what do? We become reckless in borrowing. Kenya is there now. That now our debt is 12 trillion Kenya shillings. I want to request that we do not have to put our country in that kind of pedestal in terms of borrowing. Kenya has always had development for the many years, but we never had to borrow that much. President Kibaki did a lot of development. He borrowed only 1.2 trillion for 10 years.